Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. Today we are going to look at how to make a gift card holder. This one is Christmas themed, but it could be adapted to any time of the year. So this is what we're aiming for. And you open it and inside is your little place for your gift card. Okay. Now what I've used to make this, I've used some papers from the Precious Marieke, the best Christmas paper pack. 24 sheets in there. They are double-sided and you get 3 of each combination. I've used the sort of sage green and burgundy sort of combination here, and for the one we're going to make now I've got this kind of lovely purpley blue and white combination. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, oh, I haven't shown you the die. Let's have a look at the die. So this is the die. Comes in 2 parts. We've got this bit that cuts the actual edge out, and then this bit which goes over the top to add the decoration and can also then be used separately. And as you can see here, I've actually cut into it and cut it up rather than keeping it as the complete piece. Okay, so our base card is the length of a piece of A4 cut to 5 inches wide, and then we are going to score that at 1 3/4. That will make your flap, and then we're going to score it at 5 3/4. So remove our scoreboard if you don't need that anymore. Make sure I can get hold of it. Ooh. Okay, so take our bone folder, well, a paper creaser, okay, and then this bit goes in, and that's where you'll put your card. So this bit folds over, and this is the bit that we are going to cut. Okay, so I'm going to take the edge. Ooh, didn't clear up after my last project. Messy. One slide, bear with me. I do apologise for clearing up. So we are going to put this onto our cutting plate, and we're going to put it right at the end and secure that with some tape. Okay. It's just slightly smaller than the width of the card, but it's just easier to cut it at 5 inches than trying to sort of 16ths, which it would need to be. But you can always trim it after if you don't like that little overhang. I don't particularly mind it, so tend to leave it so you get that little bit just here. Okay, so longer arms. Okay, so here is our oh dear, look at that, what a mess. That is what comes of not cleaning your board before you cut things. Now I don't think it's going to make much difference. In fact, I know it won't make much difference because we're going to cover all this in paper, so this will all disappear, but comes of not cleaning your cutting plate. Okay, right, there we go. So this will have cut nicely off, and as you can see, this is what I mean by this little overhang here, and I don't mind it, so I just cut up into it. Okay, like so. Okay, now I'm going to take the darker of the 2 papers that I've chosen. I'm going to use the whole. They are, I think the paper pack says 15.2 centimetres square, which is basically 6 inch square if you work in old money. So I'm going to use the whole of that sheet, and we'll clean this die out. Doesn't take too much because it's not too detailed. And then I'm just going to lie this on the edge of my paper like so. There we go. And as you can see, it is longer than the die, but we will be trimming it off. In fact, I'm going to just... No, I am not going to. I'm just going to carry on with what I've done. I was thinking of moving it down on the paper to give me a little bit more room to trim it, but I think it'll be okay like this. Okay, here it comes through. There we go. Okay, so all this has done is to cut the edge into this piece of pattern paper. Now I'm going to chop that. I'm going to chop it at the other end, but I am now going to trim it so that it is actually just slightly smaller than the original. So we'll line it up against that there, and I'm just coming in slightly smaller than the original there, and then same this way. I'm going to turn it over that way, just makes it easier when you're lining it up slightly in. There we go. So this will now go over the top of this. Okay, it's exactly over the top. We will be sticking that down, and it is just now the right length to cover the card. Okay, so it'll be like this. We'll see that covered there. Okay, so let's stick that down, and then we know that piece is sorted and done. Not with tape, that's not going to work, is it? I need some glue. Okay, so working glue would help too. Backup plan. Hope this one works. This is just the same glue decanted into a little pot. So I've got a finer tip on it as well. Into those little bits around. We're going to try and stick on top of the other one in a moment. Okay, make sure you've got enough glue, not too much so that it maybe doesn't buckle, but enough glue that it is going to stick. So now all that awful embossed stuff that happened while because I hadn't cleaned my board is now going to disappear underneath our pattern paper. There we go. There we go. So that's the bit that disappears underneath, and I could probably have cut a little bit. I might cut actually a little bit away from here, just so that it sits a little bit more evenly. There we go. Okay, so there is our edge on there. I'm not too worried that we've got a little bit of white showing. I'm going to cover that shortly anyway. So we're going to then, we need another piece of this, or this little, excuse me, for this little end bit. So I am just going to eyeball where I need to cut for this and mark it with a pencil, like so. Bring my back up. Place that. Ooh. Ooh, go through. There we go. On there. And where did I make the other mark? Oh, can't see. Check. As I put it on, I'll probably see the mark. Yeah, there it is. It was there. I just couldn't see it. There we go. In it goes. And so that piece is going to go there. Now, let's glue that on so we know that's done. On there. Okay, right, so we then need to cover this piece here, which is going to be the lighter colour. I'm just trying to make sure I've got that up the right way with the lanterns. So we're going to do eyeball this. Now I'm going to bring it down level with that so that when we open the card, that one's up. Usual faffy stuff that we do as crafters. Shan't I? No, yeah, not sure. So there we go. So cut this there, and I can see my line this time. On. Okay, so that's our piece for here. And again, that's thankfully covered up some of that stuff. So there we go. In there. Okay, and so we need a piece now for the front. So we are going to use this, not that one, this one, isn't it? I'm going to make sure it's up the right way. And we're going to make sure this time that it lines up with that. It doesn't look wrong on this. So these are always the fiddly bits. You know, your mats, your layers. Always seem to take the time. Well, always seems to take me the time to do. Fussing around with colours and where it's going to go, and there we go. Okay, so this one, making sure we have got it up the right way. Yes, it is that way. Oh, I've done that completely wrong. How have I managed that? Oh no. Okay, not to worry. I am not going to panic. I'm just going to see if I've got another piece of that paper. I should have. Here we go, in here. Have a look. Have a look. There we go. Ah, never mind. I will use that for the next bit. So let's make sure we do this right this time. So we're going to sit there. We're going to big mark. That's where we're cutting. And big mark there. That's where we're cutting. Again. So we're going to cut on that one. And we are going to cut on. Whoa, come on. That. Okay. Fingers crossed that it's going to work this time. There we go. That's more like it. Not really sure what I did the first time around. Is it up the right way? No, that's the right way because the candle flame's there. So we will put that on the front. There we go. There we go. Let's put that in there. Okay, now, so what we now need to do is we need to use this detailed part of the die. We need to cut a piece to go over here, and we need to cut the piece to do here. I have already cut it out in white because I did a drop shadow on there. I have already cut that out in white, so we just need to cut it in the 2 pattern papers. So let's see, here we go, there's one. That's one of the ways, and we also need it in the blue. Now I am pretty sure, not 100% sure because I haven't tried it, that this should cut through both layers at the same time, so we're going to give it a go. If it doesn't work, we have another option, but we will have a try. Because if it works, it will be great and it will save us a little bit of time. Okay. So, cutting. that goes through. Tidy up a little bit while that's going through. Oh, and it's going to pop off the end and pick it. There we go. And out it comes. Okay. So look at that. Can we tell by the back? Yep, that's cut through both of those in one go. No problem. Okay, so move the tape. Oh, come off there. Those coming up through there. And we'll take this bit of tape off at the bottom too. There we go. Move that paper away. Okay, so we are going to use the roller. You can see pretty much all the bits have come out. Now, on the original one, I saved some of these little stars and things. So I might just put some of these to the side. Might be able to use in a minute. Okay, for decoration. And I think there's a couple more in here. Like these 3 here. That's not going to get that, is it? Grey bottle's not going to be of any good. So we'll put those 3 over there. And then we shall get the piece out. And as well as all the bits that do poke out, there are some little holes that just allow you to start to leverage it away from the die. Now, with this one, I found that taking it from the top, got that little hole there, taking it from the top and taking it slowly is the best way, because there's some very fine bits on this. Now, I am my only, oh no, I think we're going to be all right. I'm slightly concerned. Sometimes when you cut 2 pieces of paper together at the same time, they do get compressed really hard together and they become very difficult to separate. But as I was doing that, I could see that actually these 2 were going to separate and no problem. Okay, so we're going to keep the blue to go with that one in a moment, and that's the one that's going to go over here. Okay, in fact I am going to stick this first because I want to drop shadow it first, give it a little moment to dry. I'm going to actually put the glue on the card one rather than on the paper one. So I'm gluing it all first before I cut it up, because it would be easier to place as a whole piece as opposed to trying to place 5 individual baubles. Okay, so make sure there's enough glue on each of the baubles to make sure that the paper is going to stay stuck. Okay, so we're going to place this. I think there's no sort of easy right or wrong way when you're doing these. It's just a case of sort of moving it, maneuvering it, making sure it sticks. Because it's so thin, it is quite easy to move. Okay, so we've got our drop shadow on most of this, and the last one. Oh, the last one is there. Okay, so just give that a moment to dry while we stick this one on. So again, make sure you've got glue on enough contact points it doesn't lift. These little ones are always quite tricky. Fine nozzle, if you've got it, is always helpful. But if not, then you can always, like I'm doing now, they're fairly large bits of glue, but you can always kind of like blot it before you stick it down, because you don't necessarily want glue seeping up through. Okay, so it's quite difficult on this one with the pattern on it. I'm not 100% sure I'm getting everything covered, but we'll soon see when we try and stick it. So I'm just going to grab a bit of scrap, so the back of this, I'm just going to lie it down. Takes off some of the excess glue, and then just going to again lay this over. This fits really beautifully over the top. Oops, she said if you could do it properly. Of where you die cut the actual edge with the other die. There we go. Sticks on there. Okay, so that one's now stuck. We are now going to take this one. Now it's glued together, and we are going to snip into it. So we're going to separate the baubles, snipping, and I chose to go just above these little hanging parts. And there. That's 3. Take that little bit off. Down there. That's 4. And then the last one, number 5 there. Okay, so now before I stick those on, I'm going to do something I forgot to do earlier, which is to stick this down. And I am going to use red liner tape on this. I'm going to put a little piece along here. Cut that off there. And then we're going to use another little bit here. And put into that there. Okay, and then really press it down well. And then take a tool and lift the bits of tape off. Now, if you have one of those reverse punches, you can get in there and sort of punch like a thumb hole, but I don't have one, so I can't do that. That's now stuck there, and there's your little flap for your gift card, and then we are going to arrange these baubles in a nice little luster. How are we going to do this? That one. Okay, so once I've decided where they're going to go, work from the back. The one that's going to be at the back first. Again, this is one where you're just going to have to blot the glue on a piece of scrap paper. That's number 1 there. Number 2. Oh, I don't really have numbers, but this is the second one I'm doing, so it's number 2. Again, blot off some of that glue. One slightly over, slightly higher. And then I'll go with that one next. Again, make sure you've got glue in appropriate places. Blot it off. Move that one slightly over there, I think. And then this one. Oh, I'm getting glued onto the scrap paper now. This one's slightly more filigree, so it's slightly more tricky with the glue. Again, just wipe some of that excess off. And get that one there. Oh, is it going to stick? Yeah, and then the last one we'll have here. Put glue on that, and the final bit then is the fiddly bit of adding these little stars. Now, you might choose not to use the little bits that come out from die cutting, and that's personal choice. It's whether you can be faffed or not. But if you've got little things like little flat back pearls or little gems or little stars that you would like to use, then by all means go ahead and do so. Now, I also had some that I'd kept from before, but I don't seem to have those. They all seem to have gone. So we might be able to get some done. Oh no, there they are. There we go. When I cut the white one out, I kept some of them on some low tack tape just for this purpose. And I think I might use the blue ones on there and the white ones there. Yes. So I'm just going to go and put a blob of glue in all of the hanging holes, and then I'm going to get my my little tool. It pretty much is just a wax pencil that allows you to pick things up like gems or little embellishments like this, and place them where you want them. So let's just take these off. Double-sided tape, and then we will do the fiddly bit and putting them on. So what have we got? Star. Let's put the star there, and that one there, and that one there, and one on there, and one on there. And then I'm going to use these ones from where we just die cut the shapes. So we're going to separate those so that we get just the lighter coloured ones. And that's one on there. Oh, that's one escaped up there. That's another one. This thing is just perfect. It literally just picks them up. And when you put pressure on it, it just lets it go. Absolutely brilliant. Another light one. Ooh, there. Oh, turn over. Because I've got gluey fingers as well, it doesn't help. On there. What have we got over here? We've got a star. Let's use the star on that one. And I need one more. One more. That little one will do. No. Oh, let go. That little one there. And we're going to stick that on there. Okay. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a sentiment on it. Now I'm using Creative Expressions little mini sentiment die. Merry Christmas. So I've already cut it in white. I'm now going to cut it in the blue. So I hunt around for a little bit of the blue paper. I'm going to cut that there. I didn't cut this one before purely because of needing to cut into the paper all the rest of the card. So there we go, that's there. Okay. If you have a Gemini, if you have the junior plate, this is a very big plate to put through for a little die. If you have the junior plates, you can just put them through sideways. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and we get our die roller, push that one a little bit, and then the pokey tool. There we go, lovely there. So we are going to stick the white one down first. Here we go, tweezers. Grab it, turn over, glue. Ooh, bubble there. Bits of glue down, and then kind of blot it on the scrap, and then place it. There you go, and then same for the top one in the blue paper to give it a nice contrast. Again, blot it on a bit of scrap, and then just offset it. There we go, and there you have, sorry, your gift card holder in two different colourways from the precious marieke dies and papers.